Hi, welcome to Make It with Tim. I'm Tim, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made a storage solution for the bottom of this wardrobe out of scrap bits of wood that I found lying around. We have this beautiful cupboard, and the clothes hang beautifully in here, but there's a whole load of empty space at the bottom. So I'm going to create two shelves out of scrap bits of wood that I found lying around the house. First things first, I need to measure the space. I then got the scrap bits of wood that I was going to use for this project and started to measure out the lengths I wanted. Then it's time to cut. Here I'm cutting the braces for the shelving. The larger shelf I cut 3, one at each end and in the centre, and the smaller shelf I've cut 2, just one for each end as there'll be less load on the shelf. I also cut 4 legs for the shelving. To make sure that the legs were all the same length, I cut one leg to length, then put it back on top of the next piece of wood I was going to cut. I made sure one end matched, and then I pushed the other end up against the blade without it spinning. Once I was happy it was in the right place, I turned the blade on, made sure it was up to speed, and then cut. I then sanded down all the pieces I had cut, taking off the rough edges and the splinters. Once I had done some of this by hand, I got out my electric multi-tool and put on the sanding pad. This allowed me to round off all the edges, then sand down all the flat surfaces. As this was scrap wood, I wanted to sand off any marks, leaving me with nice pieces of wood to put together for the shelving. I've now pre-cut all the bits of wood that I need to make the 2 shelves to go in the bottom of our cupboard. It's now time to pre-drill the holes so that I can put the screws in without splitting the wood. I'm going to use a countersink bit which has a drill piece, and then this bit right here which cuts out an area like a V shape for the head of the screw to sit in, which means that it can sit nice and flush without damaging or warping the wood. These are the slats that I'm going to be using for the shelving. They happen to already have screw holes in the ends, so all I'm actually doing at this point is making the sink hole for the head of the screw to sit in. Here I've put the shelving slats on the end supports, and then pre-drilled the end supports, so that I can put the screws in without splitting the wood. I'm using standard wood screws. The most important thing is that the screws aren't long enough to go through both bits of wood and leave a sharp point out the other side. Once I had made both shelves, I followed the same process to put the legs on. I used my countersink on the outside of the legs, lined them up with the shelving, and then used a long drill bit to go into the shelf itself. I used 60mm screws so that there was a good strong connection between the leg and the shelf. This is going in the bottom of the cupboard without finish on. At some point in the future, I hope to put some wax, maybe some varnish on here, some sealant of some kind to finish it off properly. But for now, I'm going to put it in as is. It's worth mentioning that I put this brace on at the back. This brace is going to stop the shelves from moving side to side as we put extra weight on here. Now I know inside the cupboard it's not going to have much space to move, but I wanted this unit to be strong and secure by itself without having to rely on the cupboard for support. Now let's see how it fits in the cupboard. The shelves are now in place. All that's left for me to do is put the clothes back in. There we go. Everything's in, the shelves are in, the clothes are on the shelves. And my wife and I are very happy with this. So I hope you found this useful and you've enjoyed the journey. If you like what you've seen, please click on the subscribe button below and hit that bell. If you have any comments or words of wisdom regarding shelving and storage, please add them in the comments below and other people and maybe myself can pick up some new tips. So, till next time, have fun.